Crown damn it. Just crown damn it. The world really continues to kick you in the dick sometimes. I mean, I got some good news, bad news, and then dumb news. And there hasn't been really a lot for me to talk about lately on Buying the Comics, although today they've given me some stuff that I'm semi-interested in. And some of it involves anime, some of it involves real life, and some of it, I'm not gonna lie, if I could get away with it, I would probably punch someone. Actually, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, I hear some of the dumb stuff that I hear, and it just makes me want to punch someone. And it's just, God, get me off this rock, just for the love of God, or Crom, or whatever's upstairs. Someone, please help me get off, preferably while still breathing. But anyway, got some articles, got some other stuff, got some news. Just thought I'd give my thoughts on it, and yeah. First, we have the good news. Vinland Saga Season 2 has begun production, which I'm excited for. I loved the anime for that. It's what I'll let you know. I saw Weaponized Nerd Rage and his buddy Cham talking about it on a live stream, and that got me into watching the anime and reading the manga. And it was just like, God dang, was this good? I kind of wish there were more historical fiction stuff, or if there are, I don't know about it. But anyway, yeah, it's just good. I liked the series. I think I did a video about it already. Feel free to go and watch it if you want. My about videos were not that great, but yeah, it was just a really good read and watch, in my opinion. And yeah, that's all I can really say about it. I look forward to season two. Hopefully, the production value is as good as the first one was, and it's as well. No, I probably don't have to worry about that. I mostly watch the subs on it. I'm kind of skeptical about watching dubs if they ever make a dub of Vinland Saga, because I would not put it past whoever does it to inject some bullshit into it. But anyway, that was the good news. On to some more depressing news. And the bad news is The Rising of the Shield Heroes Season 2 has been delayed. Fuck. And that I do have an article for to read from Nichiban. Hopefully, I will be putting links to this in the description. Although there is a problem with that because my internet has been a bitch lately, so it might halt that somewhat. But yeah, The Rise of the Shield Hero Season 2 delayed to April 2022. Fuck. I thought it was just. Yeah, no. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. That sucks. But yeah, by Brandon Little on July 8th, 2021 at 12:41 p.m. Edits. The second season of the popular isekai series The Rise of the Shield Hero has been delayed to April of next year. The delay for the series was announced on an official website and Twitter for the anime and is attributed to various reasons that aren't expanded upon by the production company. Um, Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. The seventh season was originally intended to premiere this October as part of the fall 2021 anime season, but instead appears to be delayed until spring 2022. Damn it. Rise of the Shield Hero began as a novel series of Aniko Usagi in 2012. Since then, the series has given rise to multiple light novel series, manga series, and spin-offs. The series tells the story of Naofumi Iwatani, who is dragged into a different world along with three other young men. Each of the three is given a legendary weapon. Naofumi is given the legendary shield, but is subsequently marginalized by the kingdom for allegedly assaulting the first Princess Maltine. Chased out of town and distrusted by his fellow heroes due to the false accusation, Naofumi is forced to rely on a slave lest he be betrayed once again by the kingdom. With his new companion, the raccoon girl of Talia, Naofumi is able to become strong enough to fight against waves of monsters despite the lack of support from the kingdom, which the other heroes receive. The Rise of the Shield Hero is licensed in North America by One Piece Books for the light novel and manga and Crunchyroll for the anime. And that's all the article. And yeah, that sucks. I really like the anime. Because I remember after the first episode here, I read about it, and this was before I heard about the controversy around it, which was stupid. I read the manga and I fell in love with it. Like and that's what makes this sting all the more because like in the hierarchy of my favorite animes, Rising of the Shield Hero is like well in anime and manga it's like at the top. Like it competes with D Gray Man for my favorite manga of all time in anime. And I can't read the light novels because well I'm not that good of a reader of books. Like I get bored really easy. Like there's a shitload of books I have to read right now or want to read, and I struggle with them at all. Like I've got so many. No, actually I'm not going to get deviate from the or digress from the subject at hand. The point is, it's been delayed. It sucks. Oh god, this day's just was a kick in the dick for me. I'm not gonna lie when I read that. Anyway, moving on to the sort of middle of the road news. Next, we have an article from Bang the Comics, one of two I'll be reading. And this news is prolific Batman writer Chuck Dixon explains why manga is wiping the floor with American comics. You know, I think I've heard of this douchebag. I think he was the one bitching about like a hero's journey or a hero with a thousand faces or something. Like he was bitching about the guy that George Lucas studied under, I think. Well, maybe he has something smart to say this time. Longtime Batman scribe and co-creator of Bane. Yeah, this is the same guy. Chuck Dixon recently explained why Japanese manga is wiping the floor with American comics. Dixon recently uploaded his 35th episode of Ask Chuck Wendig to his YouTube channel, where Ricardo Garcia asked him, "What is your theory thoughts on why manga is wiping the floor with American comics?" Dixon answered, "It's not too hard to figure out really. There's a lot of dedicated passion and craft in manga comics that's missing almost entirely from the big two." He elaborated, "Marvel and DC still run the stores here. They still are the market leader, and unfortunately, there is no variety. There's nothing really different. There's not something for everybody the way there is in manga." And that's true. Plus, Japan does like I like to call it the Zack Snyder method, where Zack Snyder he just throws stuff at the wall and sees what sticks. Japan kind of does that, or that's how Yellow Flash once described it. They just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. The West kind of does that too. The only difference is Japan throws like weird ideas out there. Like they're not afraid to explore and experiment. So that also may be affected. But anyway, Dixon then touted the artwork in manga. It's not hard to see. The artwork is attractive, it's different, it's engaging, it's interesting, it's varied. So there's a lot of reasons to like manga. And not a whole lot of reasons to like what's out now because what's out now for the big two is for the most part poorly crafted. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part it's poorly crafted, poorly conceived. There's an obvious political agenda to everything and there's no variety. Dixon then expanded on the variety Japanese manga has. In Japanese manga, there's golf comics. There's not one comic about golf. There's multiple comics about golf. He continued, and I've made reference to these videos to one of my favorite mangas about fishing. It's just about fishing. It's not about vampires fishing or another planet or witches fishing or fishing after a zombie apocalypse. This is about a guy fishing, surf casting, and whatever. Fishing from boats, fishing from the shore, fishing from the banks of rivers, and the stories are fascinating and beautifully drawn and beautifully realized. He then contrasts that with the American comics, but here, what do we get? We get superheroes and poorly done superheroes. There really isn't anything else at the mainstream companies. It's the superheroes, 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 and they are all avatars for the writer's political agenda, and they're kind of tiresome. That's not particularly well drawn. They're not particularly well drawn, and they're not particularly well realized. Huh, that's weird. Like this can't be the same Dixon I'm thinking of. Dixon then questions is then questioned why would you want to read why would you want to read this crowd if you had a choice of reading a genre that you prefer to be it horror or mystery or espionage or golf. When there's one flavor in American comics, of course Japanese comics are going to win the day. He went on, the biggest problem here is that all I see American comic book creators, the people in the mainstream do is complain about manga. Well, why don't you learn from manga? Why don't you look at the manga what the manga is doing and do that. Hmm. Yeah, like this can't be the same Dixon I'm thinking about. Like, was he on crack when he made that last statement I read about? Is there? Yeah, no, hell with it. Dixon then offered a solution for American comics to compete. And I don't mean draw people with huge eyes and lots of speed lines. I mean do more varied stories, do more complex stories, put more effort into the artwork, put more effort into the craft, change the format. For God's sake, stop doing a little folio comics and then look at what manga does. These big fat telephone books, comics released weekly, things like that. Just change the formula. Look what manga is doing. Why is manga successful? Try to copy that. And yeah, that is a good idea. Like, look at what manga does as a whole and learn from it. Instead of doing that, these schmucks and schlubs in the American comic book industry, they attack manga, call it misogynistic. They don't want to learn. It's like blame, 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 blame. They blame everyone but themselves for the fact the industry is crashing and burning harder than the Hindenburg. However, he hedged, of course, if they tried to copy it, just like they did in the 90s here in the United States, they just get it all wrong. They don't know what they are doing and they have no interest. They're just going to complain about it as if that's going to get them any more readers. Hmm. Dixon then lamented, so it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs, but everybody saw it coming. It had to happen. There has to be winners and losers. As American comic book sales fall, something has to replace it, and manga is right there. It's popular. I know my kids know kids who read manga. They don't know anybody who reads American comics. And the kids that my kids know who read manga are just casual readers. They're not fans. They're not geeks. They're not going to conventions. They just like reading manga. They like reading it on their phone. They like reading it in books. And there you go. I don't see the mainstream, the big two, ever catching up. Although there are alternatives, he concluded. And that's the end of the article. I will be posting links to this later. Well, in the description, you'll be able to find it there. And yeah, he's not wrong. Like again, I wonder if this is the same Dixon I read about last time in Binding the Comics because that one sounded like a dipshit. This one actually sounds like he has his head on right. But yeah, manga is crashing. It's crashing and burning. It's sinking to the bottom like the Lusitania. I mean, it's sinking so bad you think a U-boat had torpedoed it. And yeah, that's all I can really say about it. Like manga, like as I said before, they are not afraid to experiment and try new things. Like as you mentioned, you have stuff about golf and fishing. Now I wouldn't read those if you paid me to. They don't sound interesting. I like when there's action and adventure, sort of. But with this, it's not. Well, with American comics, you don't have that. And yeah, it's kind of sad to see American comics crash and burn, but at the same time, they kind of deserve it. I mean, they alienated their fans. They called them every horrible thing under the sun you could call them. They tried to inject politics where it didn't belong, and they just made all the wrong moves, in my opinion. They should have been learning from where they were going wrong. They should have been asking people, why do you not like this? What did we do wrong? They should have been asking those questions instead of, oh, maybe our customers were just sexist and misogynist and right wingers. Which, for the record, that doesn't matter if they're right wingers. They're still your customers. Show them some deference, because if not for them, you wouldn't have the money you have, assholes. But yeah, that's my tangent on the. Well, yeah, on the goat fuck that is the modern American comic book industry. Moving on to dumber news. So there was this meme that I think Yellow Flash put out, and the response was kind of typical. Which is, oh, you can't jack off to it, huh, 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 huh. Like the typical snark. Like, I hate snark. The only snarky person I can tolerate is Razor Fist, and that's because he's at least funny. But yeah, these hipster douchebags do what hipster douchebags do. They aim low, as always, and prove the point that they aren't real fans. They also prove that they're immature dipshits who wouldn't know how to be mature if the definition walked up and kicked them in the ass. And the meme is this: Japanese designed middle-aged white woman, American designed middle-aged white woman. Difference is the MILF on the left by Japan looks like someone a kid would probably be wanking it to. The one on the right looks like someone you would want to set on fire. I think that goes down to the fact of the political idiots and activist assholes we have in this country. They don't allow anything to be sexy anymore. You're not allowed to have stuff. You're not allowed to have nice things if you're a guy. Now, if you're a woman, they have no problem objectifying the men. But if it's the women, oh, you've committed a war crime as far as they're concerned. They want to have the Nuremberg trials for you after that. But yeah, it was kind of stupid, and yeah, no, it was just stupid. Like, not Yellow Flash. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong as usual. He's a pretty stand-up guy. I find this meme kind of funny because it kind of just speaks to the problem with the modern American entertainment. Because it used to be you could have sexy stuff in fiction for guys also, not just women. Now you can't. And this is one part of the stupid half. Because we went through the good, then the middle part was the sort of dumb. Actually, no, yeah, sort of dumb. Actually, no, the middle one about the manga, that's like the middle section of the road, the middle of the road. This and the next one are just dumb and bad. But yeah, moving on to that. Oh, before I forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to Yellow Flash. He is an awesome content creator. A lot of the stories that I like to cover for videos, I sometimes get from him originally. And I kind of like his takes. The only annoying part about him is the voice he does when he reads the tweets. Because, yeah, Twitter's a good mind for content to do YouTube videos on, but it sometimes feels like it crushes your soul when you go there. And lastly, the goat fuck that is this article by Bound in the Comics. Not the article itself, but what it covers, which is about Scarlett motherfucking Johansson. God, I can't stand her. Like, I don't see why people like her. She's like, I look at this woman's face and I'm like, this is an unattractive woman. Like in Winter Soldier, yeah, maybe I can kind of see it. Like I normally like redheads. This one, I want to like whatever they used to do to redheads back in the day during the Dark Ages. If they did that to Scarlett Johansson, I'd be middle of the road, honestly. Like I wouldn't be for it, but I wouldn't stop it. And believe me, I hate the persecution of the redheads. It's annoying, but yeah, Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson claims women are undermined, underserved, and underappreciated and underpaid. Says a woman who I think at one time was the most paid actress in Hollywood. She says this bullshit. And I'm really sick of this, oh, woe is me, feel bad for me bullshit. Doesn't matter which group it is, you look pathetic when you say this kind of stuff. Black Widow star and the highest paid actress in the world for the past 2 years, Scarlett Johansson. Oh no, she's still the highest paid. Recently claimed women are undermined, underserved, and underappreciated and underpaid. Oh, fuck you, Johansson. Fuck you, and not in the fun way. I'd have to be drunk for that. Actually, no, I'd probably cut my dick off if I did that. Her comments came in an interview alongside her Black Widow co-star Florence Pugh. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I really don't care. While speaking with Glamour magazine, the duo were asked by Glamour's Josh Smith how they have been their own allies in their own lives. Pugh answered first saying, "In my own life, when I have been in my own alley, when have I been my own? There's a big question. I don't know. Isn't that sad? You go first, Scott. I need to do some deep thinking." Johansson then provided her answers. As a woman, you have to be your own ally all the time because we are undermined or underserved or underdeserved. undermined and undeserved and underappreciated and underpaid. You have to be your own ally. Undeserved. Oh, underserved. Okay. Well, undeserved, I would argue, like some men could argue out. But anyway, my mom instilled that in me from when I was really, really young because, of course, she'd experienced it more severely than I did. She continued. Johansson then added, equal pay is a huge part of that fight. Even when I have a teenager in the industry or a young woman, I should say my mom would have those conversations like, why is she not getting paid the same? She went on to claim it never had anything to do. It never had anything to do. There was always these little key terms like bankability and box office draw. Those are terms that are basically masquerading as sexism. Oh, fuck you. Always goes to that sexism. No, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't discuss the contract well enough with the guy you make money from, or something. It may not have something to do with sexism. So you know what, Scarlett Johansson, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. It never had anything to do with those things, and if there ever was, it was also part of this systematic issue that a woman could not be bankable or have box office draw. My mom refused that. My mom refused that and instilled in me, no, you have to fight that. You're desirable because of your work, and that's where your value is. It is not your talent. It has nothing to do with your gender. It's in your town. It has nothing to do with your gender, and don't let anybody make you feel that way. She detailed. Johansson concluded. So I think it's really a constant fight. I'm still fighting that damn fight. We all are. Back in January 2018, it was concluded that Johansson would earn $25 million for her appearance in the up-and-coming Black Widow film. Not only did that report from the Daily Mail claim she would earn $25 million, but that if the film earns more than $900 million in the box office, she could earn a $6 million bonus. And that is it. And yeah, it sounds like her mother was, well, what you expect from someone who brainwashes their kid, if this is true. If I was her mother and she didn't do this, I would be like, how could you do that to me? How could you put me in the spotlight? How could you make me responsible for the fact you turned out to be a dumb schlub? And for the record, I'm not Jewish. I just found that word funny, and I'm also not Yiddish, as far as I know. But yeah, it always has to come back to that sexism, or like there are other reasons for why you don't get paid more. There's like whenever I hear people debunk this, there are alternative or external reasons for why you're not as paid as much as a man. I mean, let's say there was a movie with Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. made more than Scarlett Johansson. Maybe it was because he did more work than you. Maybe it was because he has more experience. Maybe it's because, well, no, not more experience. Maybe it's because, I don't know, he brings more people, puts more seats, or puts more asses in seats. Like, I really can't say for sure, but the fact that they had to do this and just bring up all these bullshit issues kind of just shows me that, yeah, Marvel, I hope your MCU collapses. Like, I hope it collapses harder than the World Trade Center. Actually, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Actually, no, I can't rephrase that. Yeah, I hope it collapses like the World Trade Center. The only difference is I felt bad when the World Trade Center collapsed, or when I found out about it. When MCU collapses, or the MCU, I will be laughing with popcorn in hand as I watch it happen. So, yeah, Scarlett Johansson, eat a dick. Actually, no, scratch that. You probably do that on a daily basis, given you have no acting talent. Because I've seen your performances; they aren't that endearing or inspiring, and you don't have the charisma to really interest me or make me want to watch the stuff you're in. You look like someone. Well, you have about as much talent as Seth Rogen. Oh, I'm sorry, that might be a bit extreme, but you know what? That is kind of the low bar you're at with me. And this kind of makes me hope your career takes a swan dive. So, yeah, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. And that is all I have really to talk about for this video. It's just, crown damn it. Crumb, damn it. Damn, to quote Florida. And that's all I really wanted to say. That's the news. Have fun with that. And have a nice day. Because between the internet and having to read this bullshit, I kind of wanted to hurt someone after I got done reading it. Because I'm really sick of this bullshit in Hollywood. Whoops. And if this is the future of the MCU, you know what? I'm glad it might be collapsing here soon. Like it might be collapsing so hard you'd think an implosion grenade from Warehouse 13 had been used. So, yeah, have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the damn start.